bring you next to me to the stage, ladies and gentlemen. Please give a nice warm welcome, Mr. Brendan Kennedy.
So I was talking to my friend the other day, and you ever he was trying to do the thing, you know when you're trying to tell someone something and you can't decide in your head between two words, and so you say it, and when you get there you actually combine them, it's totally different, third word, and it comes out all wrong. Well, my friend did that. He's like, yo, dude, last night I got so drunk, he went to say blacked out or shit-faced. He's like, yo, dude, last night I got so drunk I got black-faced. I was like, I think you mean blacked out or shit-faced. He's like, no, I got really drunk and rubbed grease paint on my face and put white gloves on and taught a little girl how to tap dance. Oh, I was like, I'm sorry I accused you of not using words correctly. Because you totally fucking did. That is the definition of what you did. I was thinking about how, it sucks that blackface was offensive at one point because it could still be hilarious. And especially if you do nice things for people while in blackface, so they don't know what to say. If you volunteer in a soup kitchen in blackface and just you're serving people sandwiches and they're like. Am I pissed or hungry? I'm hungry. I'll be pissed later. I don't know. I mean, I think we could take it back, guys. Back. I don't know what I'm thinking in my brain sometimes. I don't know. I also, when I was growing up in the 90s, movies shaped what I thought of the world, of adults. I was college is PCU, New York is hackers, and all girls are vegetarians. That's what I thought growing up. I swear to God, it's a true story. I really thought that. The first date I ever went on when I was in high school, this girl, I was like, hey, you want me for dinner? She's like, yeah, that'd be nice. I was like, cool, where do you want to go? And she's like, well, any restaurant. I was like, well, any restaurant that has vegetarian stuff, right? And she was like, what? I was like, you're a vegetarian? She's like, well, I was like, well, skinny girls are vegetarians. It's a fact. And she was like, what are you, retarded? And I was like, yes. I was like, yes, you caught me. And sometimes I think maybe I should be a vegetarian because it'd be a better way to be, because then I wouldn't be as fat possibly. But I don't know. I don't think I could be a vegetarian though because I don't care enough about anything. There are maybe 7 things in the world I care about, and 5 of them are just different types of deli meats. So if I was a vegetarian, I would just be furious. Because people would be like, what do you do? I was like, I play video games, I masturbate. Those are the only 2 things I got left. So, I can't have a sandwich. So, what do you want? They're like, well, have you ever had a veggie burger? It's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. That's fucking gross. Aaron was talking about crazy people. I lived with a crazy person. He didn't ride bikes. He was the same height as me and 350 pounds. I know you're like, well, how much is that? I'm 270. Put another 70, 80 on top of that. That's how fat he was. And he was a lunatic, and it was great because he would just make up crazy shit. And one time he went to Penn State to visit this dude, but he didn't want us to know he was visiting some guy. We didn't give a shit, whatever. I was like, I don't care. But he comes back, and I had to change the password on the internet. So I'm like, okay, he's gonna yell at me about the internet. I'm sitting there, I'm watching TV, the router's on top of it. He walks in with his laptop, he's all upset. He's like, did you eat my cake icing? And I was and I'm like, what? Because I was so ready to be yelled at about the internet, and then I get cake icing thrown. I'm like, what? And he's like, somebody, they ate the cake icing. Did you eat the cake icing? I was like, no, and he's like, well, I was like, I didn't have, I was like, nobody had cake or anything this week. He's like, well, I didn't say cake. I said, did you eat the cake icing? And I was like, what? I was like, who eats cake icing without cake? And he's like, well, we would do that. And I was like, nobody does that. And I was like, I know, I'm fat, but I'm cheesesteaks with a side of mozzarella sticks fat. I'm not just eating cake icing going, nom, 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 fat. That's ridiculous. That you have a problem at that point. Okay, I understand leftovers, you ice the whole cake, there's a little bit maybe, but you just fresh tub, boom, no cake. And he's sitting there, and turns out later we found out he ate it. So he's a lunatic. He was sitting there looking at me he probably was eating it, and he's just like, I'm gonna say Brendan did this. Brendan ate my cake icing. And when I was like, I didn't eat your cake icing, you probably ate it. He goes, and just made animal sounds, he was seizing up. You ever see Blank Man and the robot J5 when it's freaking out? And just shaking and I was like, what? And it's as though he was living in the Truman Show, and I just stepped through the sky and was like, you ate the cake icing! And he's like, no! And he's in the water and freaking out. And so then he he continues to have like a problem with the router. He's sitting there and he's getting like out of breath, like standing next to the router because it's on top of the TV. So he's holding the laptop, getting out of breath, and he goes and gets a little chair, which is hilarious because he's on both sides of it from behind, and so like, you can see him coming out both sides. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like I can't openly laugh at him, so I need to find comedy on TV. And the only thing on, I swear to God, was a George Lopez special, and so I had to sit and pretend to laugh at George Lopez for about 35 to 40 minutes. And at one point, like he's sitting there with the router, and he's going like this, and he goes, "Well, I just don't understand," like to himself. And so I just started laughing, and he's like, "What's funny?" I was like, "George Lopez said, he said everybody is born with a lawnmower in Mexico." And so at this point, it's like, oh, he's kind of crazy, your roommate. But at this point, he turns to me, he goes, "Yeah, I could see how that's funny." And I'm like, "All right, you are a fucking lunatic, man, because that is not funny at all." And like I broke out, and I was like, "Dude, not funny. I'm not laughing at George Lopez. Look at you. Look at what you're fucking doing."